Warning, this video contains topics of suicide, child death, child murder, adult murder, and several other sensitive topics that may not be suitable for every viewer. Welcome to FNAF 101. I'm Professor Mansex, and this will be a class about the history of Five Nights at Freddy's. Not the actual real-life history, silly. That's for nerds, which I am not one of. Today, we will be focusing on the in-game lore of Five Nights at Freddy's, a game series that has a history spanning over the past 9 years, and we'll cover it all, ish. I've been following it closely from the shadows for nearly all of its time, and I'm emerging now since it's acceptable to openly be a Five Nights at Freddy's fan. Now, every Five Nights at Freddy's or FNAF lore video is different because there are only a few concrete things, and a lot of it has to do with when certain things happen, but this can range from 1 to 2 years to over 30 years. Each person has their own opinion, and this is mine. If you watch more of these types of videos, you can formulate your own opinion and call me whatever names you want. Oh, and make sure to take notes because there will be a test afterwards and it will be 30% of your grade. The other 70% is attendance, so you will have at the very least passed. But sit down and don't move, no bathroom breaks. There's a bucket next to every seat for a reason. Sometime in the late 1970s to early 1980s, two friends that shared a love for robotics and animatronics created a restaurant with singing and dancing animals named Fredbear and Spring Bonnie called Fredbear's Family Diner. These two are named Henry Emily and William Afton and are very important characters, so remember their names. Now, the animatronic suits that they made were not just for animatronics. They were also able to go into something called suit mode, where the spring locks in the suits would be deactivated and the person would be able to wear it. This allowed for both robotic movement with the animatronics and more complicated movement in suit mode. These suits are incredibly dangerous though, as water, too much movement, moisture from breath, improper deactivation, or like a billion other things can cause the spring locks to go off and cause the person inside to have a miserable, painful death. Despite that, this innovation of entertainment makes the restaurant very popular and allows them to expand to multiple other locations, and this goes on for years. Now, before we go on, let's touch on the families of the founders. Not much is known about Henry's wife, not even if she is around, but he has a daughter named Charlie, and she is around 4 years old. Much more is known about William's family. William has two sons, the oldest named Michael Afton, and the youngest with an unknown name. He also has a daughter named Elizabeth Afton. There's also a wife, but much isn't known about her, and she's left for some reason. Whatever happens to her most likely makes William start beating his youngest son. Now, this is already bad, especially from the owner of a family pizzeria, but don't worry. It only gets worse. His youngest son is rebellious and runs away constantly to the Fredbear location or to the sister location, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. William gets tired of this, so he begins using the Spring Bonnie suit and standing outside his window to make sure he stays inside and is afraid of the animatronics. Michael, at this point, is trying to defend his brother from their father's constant rage. While this is going on, William sees happy families every day at his job, making him stressed and tensed. Then William snaps. He goes mad and starts killing kids and stuffing them in the suits of animatronics at the sister location, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. This is called the Missing Children's Incident 1. Yes, there are more. A total of 5 children are killed and put in separate suits. Susie, who is stuffed in the suit of Chica the Chicken, the first killed, Gabriel and Freddy Fazbear, Jeremy and Bonnie the Bunny, Fritz and Foxy the Pirate, and Cassidy in the Fredbear suit. The last 4 are all up to whatever order you want to put them in, but Susie is confirmed the first by this voice line in Ultimate Custom Night.
I was the first. I have seen everything.
Now it's business as usual. William is feeling good after, taking out some stress, and he's driving home from work one day in his purple car as the purple guy, and sees Henry's daughter Charlie, who has been locked out of the pizzeria. Due to William's behavior recently, Henry got suspicious of his friend and made a robot called the Security Puppet to protect children, mainly his daughter, from William possibly showing up and hurting people. But tonight was different. The puppet was accidentally locked away in their container, unable to get to Charlie. William had taken notice that his friend had a completely happy family and wants Henry to suffer like he did. In front of the pizzeria, with no one watching, he kills Charlie, then leaves her in the alley. Then the puppet crawls out, shutting down from the rainy weather in the process, trying to cover Charlie's body. After, he speeds home, reaching high speeds and dodging vehicles on the highway. When he arrives, he is greeted by his son, Michael, who is watching TV, telling his father to leave him alone tonight. He had a rough day. Here he is talking about his younger brother. William goes to his door and realizes it's locked, remarking, "I told you not to close your door." He goes outside to the back of the house and sees the glass broken and footprints leading towards the woods, and the footprints of the suit he used to scare his son. He says, "Ran off to that place again. He will be sorry when he gets back." This results in William creating another set of animatronics to keep his son in check called the Nightmare animatronics. Remember this for later? It will be on the test. No, it will not be open, no. After the night, Henry is devastated, hit with the grief that his daughter was murdered and he doesn't know who did it. With no one to blame but himself, he works on the animatronics to distract himself behind the scenes from here on out. So now we get into the first confirmed year of anything, 1983, the same year Michael Jackson's Thriller drops. William has been using the Nightmare animatronics to scare his son for a while, and this week it's his birthday and William is relentless with the animatronics. He now cries constantly when at home or in the vicinity of the Fazbear locations, earning him the name the Crying Child, which I will now be referring to him as for the rest of the video instead of William's youngest son. This is stupid important for literally everything after this. His brother no longer coming to his aid, and the other kids are also bullying him for being scared of the animatronics at Fredbear's family diner, along with spreading rumors that kids disappear when they go there. As the week goes on, the Nightmare animatronics get more aggressive to ensure the Crying Child doesn't leave. This leads to the day of his birthday. After surviving every night, he goes to his birthday party at Fazbear Family Diner. Michael and his friends are laughing at the Crying Child and playing pranks on him. Michael takes it too far, bringing his brother up to Fredbear, tears running down his face. Then, the Crying Child's tears and movement cause the spring locks to activate, crushing the Crying Child's head, killing him instantly. This is also the same suit Cassidy was killed in. At the end, William promises to put him back together, and Michael apologizes for being so cruel and wishing he hadn't done it. Fun fact, this is where the clip of Markiplier saying,
"Was that the bite of 87?"
came from, but this is actually the bite of 83, the first of the Afton kids to die. Then something strange happened. William started noticing the animatronics acting differently and very aggressive. As it turns out, all those dead kids took over those animatronics. This means that Charlie inhabits the puppet and two souls inhabit Fredbear, Cassidy, and the Crying Child. A little bit confusing, but here's a chart to make you understand everything better. See, that's a lot easier to understand now. William discovers this happens because of something called Remnant. Remnant causes the animatronics to be possessed by the children, and there is a way to harvest it. Take a wild guess as to what it is. It's killing kids, Big Willie's new favorite pastime. So he starts using an underground facility he used to stalk his fucking children and dispatch the Nightmare animatronics to the Crying Child's room. This is the same facility in sister location. The game, not Freddy Fazbear's, you better understand because I'm not making another chart. That first one took 30 minutes. In this facility, he starts his own company called Afton Robotics that rents out animatronics to people for birthday parties. These animatronics are Funtime Freddy, Circus Baby, Ballora, Funtime Foxy, and a few others. He gives each a special ability to lure children so he can kill them and collect their essence. Circus Baby, being his magnum opus, is able to sing and serve ice cream and detect when children are alone. When a child is alone, a Circus Baby will open up a stomach compartment, then scoop up the child into the cavity, killing it. Circus Baby is only rented out for one day at a party William's daughter Elizabeth also attends. William forbade his daughter from seeing Circus Baby while she was in operation or being built. Elizabeth's curiosity got the better of her, so when everyone was away, she went up to Circus Baby and got scooped and killed instantly. Circus Baby is never rented out again, and no one but William knows of her death. That's Afton kid number 2 to die. Can Willie make it 3? Only time will tell. William then finds out his daughter now possesses his creation, Circus Baby. He then keeps her in the underground facility for later use. Now we're sometime before or during 1987. William is still experimenting, now with a new set of kids at a new Fazbear location. Henry has gotten suspicious of William and has banned him from all Fazbear properties. He has also installed new security into the new toy animatronics, allowing them to facially detect any threats or suspicious characters, because, 8 kids have died now or disappeared, nowhere to be found. Also, all those bodies are still inside the animatronics except for Crying Child and Charlie. A very important detail I forgot to mention, but it's included here in the script, so I didn't forget. I just didn't put it earlier. Anyway, a new set of children are murdered and stuffed into suits. Unknown what their names are, but they possess these new toy animatronics. This is known as the Missing Children's Incident number 2. This is also the first time we see William using the animatronics to lure children directly in the minigames. This is the first time we are shown the purple guy, who is William Afton, who isn't literally purple, but this becomes confusing later, but I'll show you why then, not now, because that'll spoil the surprise. They also all end in jump scares. Now I'm going to stop you right there, Cassidy and Crying Child. So, this is really, really important. As you can see, the puppet is going around and giving masks to all the children. All of those children being the kids killed in the first Missing Children's Incident, meaning she is able to give people new life. This also means that she gives life to the toy animatronics as well. However, it does not mean that she gives life to every animatronic. Now we're in the year 1987, the same year Little Lies by Fleetwood Mac came out. A security guard named Jeremy does the night shift and finds out the animatronics are possessed by children that were killed by adults. So, they don't really like adults. In my opinion, it's completely understandable. Jeremy works this week as the night shift guard, with the help of the phone guy who explains the animatronics' new facial detection and excusing their supernatural violence to programming bugs. Jeremy then moves over to the day shift because he's such an incredible and hard worker, and Fritz Smith takes over the final day. Wait, isn't Fritz the name of one of the children from the first Missing Children's Incident? Did William sneak into the pizzeria under a fake identity of one of the first kids he killed? That would explain why the animatronics were so aggressive on the last night of the week. But that's just a theory, but so is half of this series. First day, Jeremy is on day shift. He works like the perfect employee he is. Then one of the animatronics chomps off his frontal lobe, Phineas gauging him, basically, but without the metal rod going through his skull. Oh yeah, Phineas Gage is a railroad worker from the mid-1800s that had a metal rod used for tamping the ground, like gunpowder into the ground, for railroads. He went through his skull, tearing off his frontal lobe, and unexpectedly he survived and lived quite a while after. Wow, that's a useful historical fact. That shouldn't be in here. Back to video game lore. This is known as the Bite of 87.
Was that the Bite of 87?
Yes, that is the Bite of 87, Mark. Good job. And yes, Jeremy did survive, as revealed later. Skip a few years to I don't know when. Every night, there's a minigame in Five Nights at Freddy's 3 that shows the animatronics from Freddy Fazbear's Pizza coming alive and trying to get to the room in the back, only to malfunction and be disassembled by the purple guy, William Afton. Then the children's souls escape their suits and confront William Afton. William gets into a Spring Bonnie suit, the same he used to lure and kill them, to try and scare them off. But this pizzeria isn't in the best shape. There are leaks in the ceiling that drop onto the suit. William, getting in and believing he is safe, taunts the children, laughing at them. The spring locks fail, clamping down on William's body all over, causing him a long, painful death, and his corpse locked inside the suit. Michael Afton is now an adult, maybe in his late teens or 20s. It's been nearly 10 years since his brother died, and his dad is nowhere to be found now. However, William tells Michael about the secret underground facility he built, and he tells him to take a peek at what's down there and do some maintenance while some other technicians are still working down there. Michael says alright and goes down there and starts doing work. The animatronics believe that he is Papa Willie, but still try to kill him. As the week goes on, he is revealed more and more about his dad's evil doings, and, he killed kids. He keeps working and finds Circus Baby, his sister, who believes he is her father, who has finally come back. Michael keeps working, finding out more and more. Then on the last night of the week, things go south. Like, on the border south. Michael is told 2 technicians are going to be working that day, and to make sure to tell him to go home and not get in the way. Both are seen hanging from stages on either side of the room, so I guess he doesn't have to tell him to go home now. Circus Baby lures Michael into what's called the scooping room, a room William used to scoop the essence out of people to get remnant. Circus Baby uses this to scoop out Michael's insides, killing him.
I've been out before, but they always put me back. They always put us back inside. There's nowhere for us to hide here. There is nowhere to go when we look like this. But if we looked like you, then we could hide. If we looked like you, then we would have somewhere to go. The scooper only hurts for a moment.
The Funtime animatronics and Baby combine into Innard, then get inside Michael's corpse and wear it like a suit. Kind of Buffalo Billing it. And that is Afton Kid number 3, gone and dead. You did it, William. You inadvertently caused the death of all of your children. Father of the Year, can we get a round of applause, please? After about a week of wearing his corpse, it starts to get gross and purple, so they evacuate, leaving Michael's corpse on the sidewalk. But Michael lives and rises from the ground while Circus Baby repeats,
Won't die, won't die. You won't die.
Michael is still purple and gross, but this makes him an actual purple guy, and unlike his father, he's only killed 1 child, and that was by accident, so I'd say he's actually already the better purple guy. This starts Michael's crusade to every place his father has touched to cleanse it and save the children he killed. While this is happening, Freddy Fazbear's has been closed since 1987 due to the bite of 87 and the many missing children. In 1992 or 93, it's whichever you want, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza reopens with the same animatronics as before, still inhabited by the dead kids, and Michael Afton, under the alias Mike Schmidt, works the night shift. This is his first stop in his cleanse of the Fazbear locations. And, just like his father choosing an alias and stuff to work at Fazbear locations so they don't know who he is. Of course, the animatronics are haunted, and since our boy Mikey looks like his father, they want his ass dead. Michael is the perfect employee and knocks it out of the park while having the phone guy talk about the company. Later on in the week, phone guy records his last message and dies to one of the animatronics, either Bonnie or Fredbear, also known as Golden Freddy, since Fredbear's name is no longer used due to the bad press behind it, due to the missing children, and a few other deaths that occurred. After, Michael is fired due to his foul smell, due to him being like a corpse and you can't really get that stench out, and messing around with the animatronics, probably trying to get the souls out of them, but couldn't finish. Now comes a large skip in time. So now we skip to the year 2022 or 23. Again, it is whichever. Michael has been working behind the scenes trying to fix his father's deeds and removing the remnant in children's souls from the toy and other animatronics his father created, while the original Fazbear gang and Funtime conglomerate and puppet elude him. This is a theory with no real ground, just me being hopeful and providing closure, since this has all ended and nothing more will be added or changed. In reality, the toy animatronics haven't been talked about since Five Nights at Freddy's 2, so no one knows really what happens to them. Michael is basically immortal now, kept alive by remnant, and since he's in his own body, his mind is kept intact. So he hasn't changed much since we last saw him. It's been 30 years since he worked at the grand reopening of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and he's still young, spry, and kicking. Maybe. I mean, we haven't seen this man get up in 30 years, so who knows, maybe Innard paralyzed him. A new horror attraction called Fazbear Frights opens. It focuses on multiple tragedies and disappearances of several children and the former owner, William Afton, and attempting to profit off of them. They say they have stuff like animatronics and merchandise from previous Fazbear locations. Michael immediately joins the night shift and begins work to see what he can find. The new phone dude joins Michael on his first night and tells him they have an old Springlock suit arriving tomorrow, and that he found some old training recordings. These recordings are of the now dead phone guy, and he reveals a lot has been happening behind the scenes, and Fazbear Entertainment had been hiding quite a bit. Apparently, after Fredbear Diner closed, it became banned and buried. Even old employees that worked there don't talk about it, including Phone Guy, who has apparently been there since the beginning. This isn't a big reveal or anything. The Phone Guy is just a guy that worked at Fazbear, and that's really it. But he has a lot of insight into the company's past, which is something very big. He might even know Henry and William, or is friends with one of them. We'll focus on his messages before continuing for a sec. Each night, he talks about the Springlock suits, those suits I talked about way earlier, the dangers of them, how they were retired, and about a secret room at each Fazbear location that wasn't revealed on any map or floor plan. Not even the animatronics could go back there. There are also 3 confirmed cases of people having spring locks go off in their suits. One died in a Spring Bonnie suit while they were celebrating a birthday, another in a Fredbear suit doing the same. This started a new rule that if the spring locks in a suit went off, to get away from the children and bleed out elsewhere. This continued until the suits stopped being used. Crazy shit, but it gets even crazier. Those secret rooms were sealed up randomly, keeping whatever was inside sealed until now. The rooms were unsealed, and any animatronics that were inside have been taken to Fazbear Fright. Even an old Spring Bonnie suit that has a rank smell like a dead body was inside. Yeah, there was a dead body inside, of course. Third victim of the spring locks, but he wasn't celebrating a party. It was William. Found in one of those covered rooms, sealed away for 30 years in a room no one knew about, except for a few employees that were in no hurry to get in there. The Fazbear Frights guys get past the wall and find him and bring him to their facility, where he starts calling himself Springtrap. The same facility Michael Afton has started working in. You know what that means. Family reunion! Nah, just kidding. Mikey burns the place down hoping to kill his father. This didn't work, and as William says himself,
I always come back.
Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. But something is wrong with me. I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in shadows. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. I'm going to come find you.
this is going to be a recurring thing. He's going to be annoying as shit. And all the original children that died in the Missing Children's Incident 1 are all at peace now. A few years down the line, a new Fazbear location is made. Again, Michael is on his way to actually run the pizzeria this time. He runs the pizzeria with the help and guidance of Cassette Guy, which is very outdated for like any year after 1995. I'm surprised he didn't whip out a boombox and serenade the animatronics with Wham's greatest hits. Oh yeah, Michael has some side jobs in the pizzeria that involve testing the minigames, going into the back alley to invite in animatronics that were lured in by the RASC, which stands for Remote Activated Simulated C, and order stuff in an office with shitty ventilation. Yeah, the second one is very, very important. Old friends are lured here that have been hiding for years, some of them up to 30 years. Circus Baby, now worse for wear, is Scrap Baby, which Michael hasn't seen since she jumped out of his throat with the rest of the Funtime gang. Molten Freddy, which is the rest of the Funtime gang, after they kicked Circus Baby out of the band because she was too powerful and the most popular of the group. Kind of like Freddie Mercury, but there's a dead child inside one of them, and it isn't Freddie Mercury. Lefty, if you don't buy them for the small price of 3.5 Kit Kat bars, shows up in the alley. Wait, who the fuck is Lefty, and why is there risk level 9? Who is this, you may be asking? Well, Lefty is actually spelled L-E-F-T-E, which stands for Lure, Encapsulate, Fuse, Transport, and Extract, which means someone is inside of it. Someone that's been here since the beginning and gave the dead children the animatronics. The puppet, Charlie Emily, Henry's daughter, who hasn't been seen since 1987, over 35 years ago. And finally, Fuckface McGee, also known as William Afton, please just die, you old fart. He is now Scrap Trap instead of Spring Trap, and he looks goofy as hell. I'm pretty sure I could kick his animatronic ass to another county before he even laid a finger on me. So it's the end of the week, and the whole gang's back together now. Michael survived, gathering all of them, only for it to be revealed who is helping him this entire time.
You played right into our hands. Did you really think that this job just fell out of the sky for you? No. This was a gift for us. You gathered them all together in one place, just like he asked you to. All of those little souls in one place, just for us. A gift. Now we can do what we were created to do and be complete. I will make you proud, Daddy. Watch, listen, and be full.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, if you still even remember that name, but I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find them. None of you will. This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. I am remaining as well. I am nearby. This place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms, the way you lifted others into yours. And then, what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us, in communication.
Congratulations on completing your work week. We apologize if your situation wasn't presented to you in a completely honest fashion when you first started, but it was important that your intentions and actions be genuine. Here at Fazbear Entertainment, we value fun, family, and food. But more importantly, we value our commitment to atoning for past mistakes and tying up loose ends. Thank you for your participation. There is no need for you to return to work next week, as Fazbear Entertainment is no longer a corporate entity. Please accept this certificate of completion. Goodbye for now, and thank you for taking this journey with us.
Henry was behind it all. Radio silence for years, only to come back. After finding out about his daughter and former partner's basically entire bloodline, he needed to take action. He decided to cover up each tragedy and hope that no one else would look for the perpetrator and end up like those before him. You know, dead. He kept opening locations, hoping he'd be able to lure William and finally end him. When he finds out about all the others possessed, decides to get them all in one go. He posts a job hoping to get someone that will be able to deal with the animatronics and survive. When Michael Afton arrives, he realizes he has a companion in this that can help him finish his plans. Michael's been dealing with this for over 30 years, and it will finally be over. Henry knows this now and goes out with him, finally ending the evil that has plagued Fredbear Family Diner and Fazbear Entertainment for the past 40 years. That concludes the story of the lives of the Afton and Emily families. Now comes the afterlife. William Afton is in hell for obvious reasons. In hell, he's being tortured by one of the children he killed, Cassidy, for all of eternity, killing him constantly with the animatronics he made. Of course, you can hear him suffer throughout the game, constantly screaming for Henry and Michael to save him, but no one will ever come. Not this time. It all ends with Golden Freddy shaking and twitching, showing he will never rest. Never resting, so his killer can never feel relief. Old Man Consequences, a character in the game, tells Cassidy to rest and leave the demon to his demons. Now William will suffer for all of eternity for the crimes he committed and the many lives he ruined. I think that is a great way to end today's lecture. Oh shit, security. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you enjoyed the video. Gotta run. Tell me if I left anything out if you want to see more. There is more lore from the new games, but it's still being worked on. But I'd be happy to talk about it along with the books. Oh my ass.